Delishees! All right, come on in, grab a taste. It's the delicious culture. I'm John Francois.
Oh my gosh, I like that. Delishees, come on in, get a taste, grab yourself a plate. I didn't know I'm in a rhyming mood.
Yeah, I'm always reinventing how we're opening the podcast every week because I don't know. I mean, I just figure like, hey, eat something, anything, eat us. I don't know, eat some food. We're the delicious culture, so it's a work in progress.
I like it. It works. Today, y'all, I'm Dochi, and it's been a great day.
So Dokshi, I think you said she won at the VMAs.
She did. She won Hip Hop Artist of the Year at the VMAs. She beat out Kendrick, Drake, and a few other big names, and I am so happy about it.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, I definitely want to get more of your take on the VMAs in just a second. That's one of the things that we have to eat on our plate. Also, I mean, this just in. I mean, you told me this on not on text, but you told me this on the Google Doc not too long ago. You had an ice situation in your neighborhood, so we have to talk about that. The new iPhone 17s are coming out. You saw the Conjuring Last Rites in the theater. Howard Stern had a retirement prank. Demon Slayer movie. I know you want to talk about that, and then we will wrap up with our samplers. And I would say that looking at the topics or the main courses, the meals, so to speak, I think this is kind of what it could be like going to a restaurant or eating at your home in real life, which is like, oh, hey, you have something that tastes really wonderful, and then you have this sour, bitter crouton that tastes like rotten butter.
Ugh. Oh my god.
I know the imagery is so special, isn't it? Sour, rotten, buttery
Ugh.
crouton. But isn't that true? Like, sometimes you taste something great on your plate, and then sometimes you taste uh to even make it worse, poop.
Yeah, like I can imagine somebody opening a bag of croutons and they come out slimy. That would be the grossest thing in the world to me.
Shame on you, great value croutons, because I know you have the potential to be slimy. But yeah, I mean, I did not know that you had an ICE situation, and ICE, of course, we're referring to the Immigrations and Custom Enforcement. What happened in your neighborhood of Rochester, New York?
So these terrible ICE agents, they're terrorists, how I call them,
Wow.
came into my neighborhood, literally right behind my apartment buildings. There's a house that's around the corner from me, and they pulled up, and there were two guys working on the roof of the house. Now, this house is massive, like it's about the size of a church, and it's this old house. They're up there fixing it, and people started seeing the ICE agents like circling the block. And my street over here is very specific. Like you will know when someone's coming down the street because you just see it. And so at first we saw the trucks come around, then we saw the border control SUVs come around. So I walked out of my apartment and I was like, let me see where they're going. So I walk around the corner and I see two Latino men who are up on the roof fixing the roof. And there's some ICE agents down on the ground of the house they were going to try and get them from. And then a bunch of people from the neighborhood who I just knew. Like you see their faces and like you give them the head nod every now and then. But today was the day we all connected. Well, yesterday was the day we all connected. And we were shouting at them, ICE, get out of Rochester. You shame. You are not about to take these people from this house. And then next thing I know, the news shows up. Some of the Congress and Assembly people show up. The mayor was there. Like everybody was like, you're not taking these people.
So I always wonder what gets ICE to just randomly come into someone's neighborhood. So I'm guessing that someone in the neighborhood like called ICE, like, "Oh, hey, here are these Latino workers. They look like they don't belong. So get them. They look like they're illegals." Is that how it is?
Possibly. I mean, we know that the Supreme Court just recently ruled that racially profiling somebody is now acceptable. So it wouldn't surprise me that a call came in for my neighborhood, especially where they were. It's a lot of old money over there. And where they were on that street, I would not be surprised if somebody called. Or, like we've seen ICE doing, they're now using people's IRS records and work records to find out people who are here on visas. So it could have also been through their employer, it could have been just through them getting that information now. I don't know for sure. And ICE would not comment to anybody, including the news. The only thing they said is they were looking for one man but then they had two men cornered on a rooftop.
And sorry if you already mentioned this. So the chance of like ICE get out of our neighborhood, did that work? Did they leave or they did?
Oh, they
Okay.
left. They
Yeah.
left in shame. Some of them showed up with their faces covered and everything. And I'm just going to say that they left with four flat ttires.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
people
so
were
how
not
does that?
playing.
I mean, because I don't know. I just assume like, oh, like these guys are very higher up on the level of law enforcement, so chance wouldn't do anything, and especially if someone gave him flat tires, I would assume that there would be even more consequences. So these guys could just easily be affected by chance and flat tires. Like that's all it would take to get them to leave.
Well, it's about the number of people. So
Yeah.
at some point, they have to do a risk assessment of what's safe and what's not safe. So there were about 100 of us out there, and there were about 12 of them in total.
Mm.
And we had them surrounded essentially on that portion of the street where you're not leaving here. No matter what you do, you're either going to have to assault us or arrest all of us. And you can't do that because once you start assaulting one person, you've got a mob of 99 other people to deal with. So it's typically the numbers that really get them to go away.
And I wonder if these ICE officers don't accomplish what they're there to do, don't they have to like report to superiors, job not well done? Do they get fired? Like, I kind of wonder what are like, how do they get affected by not being able to do the job that they were hoping to do?
I know they have to report it, and now it's on the news, which is bad publicity for them. And
Right.
then we know that this administration is all about filling a quota. So if they can't do that, they've got to report it to somebody. And it one of the things I will say, everybody was nonviolent, and those tires just happen to lose air on their own. So that's not anybody's responsibility out there to take care of. Y'all better have insurance.
Do you have anything statistically or just by day-to-day observation of I don't know the immigration population, what that's like in Rochester, New York? I don't know like what the ratio is of like people of color, immigrants, like what that situation is like.
It's going to sound a little cliche, but Rochester is a city of immigrants.
Mm.
A lot of our community, we have the Rochester Institute of Technology here. We had Kodak, and a lot of those families stayed from Kodak. We've got a few other tech schools here where a lot of people come from overseas. People come from Mexico, Canada, a lot of people coming from India. We even have a pretty big well, I don't want to say the wrong thing, a Saudi Arabian community here. I don't know if Saudi is the way I should describe, but a lot of people come here from overseas, and we have a very big Latino population here. So seeing this now, especially being out door dashing, I definitely seen ICE and enforcement more present than ever. And I've lived here for 5 years now, and I've seen them all over the place.
And maybe it's just pretty simple-minded of me to say this, but I logically can't understand. You have these Latinos, they're working on a house. So is it their house they're working on? Is it someone else's house they're working on? Maybe.
Someone else's house. I know that
Yeah.
it's not their house. That house is one of those really old mansions that's in my neighborhood. So I'm assuming it's some family that owns it and they may be turning it into apartments or something.
So you have people that are harmlessly hard at work on a house, and then you have these ICE officers coming in and treating them as if there's they're causing like massive gunplay in the neighborhood. I will never understand that. I don't know. What comes to mind is knowing a relative of mine who voted for Trump and in the same breath has said, stereotypes are that Mexicans are lazy, but man, they are some of the most hardworking people I've ever seen. But yet, the same person voted for somebody who clearly does not have that view, that respectable view of Mexicans or the Latino community in general. So thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's very important that you shared that story. And I'll type ice back in later on in my sampler, but I guess it's just important to put the reminder out there that if there are people in this country who are just here to live peacefully, work hard, I don't think the automatic response should be, hey, get them out of here. I think have a conversation, have a dialogue, ask questions, and if they're not here legally, let's have a dialogue about how we can get them here legally. I just don't understand how someone could just find an innocent person who's just working hard and just say, "Nope, we got to get him out." Like it's just it doesn't make sense to me.
I will tell y'all, it was terrifying to see. Even though we're out there protesting it, it like was a dagger through my heart to see these men. This would be terrifying in any aspect, but men with covered faces running around the house where you're on the roof and you're afraid to get off the roof
Yeah.
because you don't know what these people are going to do to you. A lot of them did not have anything that said that they were immigration or customs. A lot of them didn't have anything that had any kind of marking. They had their faces covered.
Wow.
It looks like you're getting abducted by a gang of people. It's terrifying. And we're on the ground watching this. So I can only imagine what was in their heads. And I'm happy they were able to get out of there safely.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right. If you're ICE and you're coming in to do what you want to do, like identify yourselves as ICE. Just the fact that you're coming in not identified as ICE, looking like some kind of sketchy person that's trying to cause trouble, that's not going to help matters.
Yeah. What's the word that they use? Thugs? They look like some thugs down there on the street. I
Yeah,
was like, what is going on? Like, it literally looked like these people were like gonna rob everybody in the neighborhood. It was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. You guys look like the people that you claim Mexicans are.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that update.
Mhm.
And all I have to say is, uh, I really hope this Epstein stuff just takes him down because I need something to take him down.
Something's got to take him down. And John, I don't want to get too off topic, but if you have not seen the stuff that has been released, it's more than enough now.
All I know so far is just another like sexually suggestive handwritten hoop-de-da that Trump signed to Epstein. He's denying it, of course. That's all I know. But there's more than that.
There is much more than that. So that birthday card to Epstein is
Yeah.
big because Trump said it never existed. He said he never did it. It never existed. Now they're trying to say that's not his signature on there, even though we can clearly tell that this is this man's signature. But there was a picture that was released and it shows Trump giving Epstein a check for $22,000 and it says this is for a fully depreciated woman.
I think I saw this on Reddit. Did they have like a picture of like a girl blocked out in that photo? Yeah,
Yep.
I saw that. All right. Well, on my plate, a new lineup of iPhone 17s. It's not just one iPhone, it's a group of them because Apple needs money badly. The iPhone 17, the iPhone 17 Pro, Pro Max, iPhone Air. I am foolish. I meant to find out what date they were released. Do you happen to know what date they're coming out?
So the iPhone 17, I think the regular one is the 12th or something that you can
Right.
start pre-ordering, and
Yeah.
then the 19th for the Pro, you can pre-order that.
Okay, gotcha. All right, and the going price for the, I believe, regular iPhone 17, it begins at about $800 compared to the iPhone 17 Pro, which is like $1,100, $1,200. The Pro Max models as well. You have the iPhone Air, which is going to start at a nice $1,000. And with these iPhone 17s, you'll get your better camera quality on the front and back facing lenses. The iPhone 17 front camera, it's been upgraded across its lineup to have a wider field of view and new sensor. It allows you to take landscape photos and other selfie orientations without having to rotate your phone. As for the iPhone Air, they give users the option to record videos using the front and back cameras simultaneously. You'll get longer battery life. I mean, I feel like that's always the pitch with these new iPhones. Like, hey, your battery life is only 17 hours. How about 25 hours?
Apple is a cult. I'm gonna just say that Apple is a cult because me and my friend Danny went to the Apple store the other day and we were like, why are headphones $500? And why are all these phones looking exactly the same? Now the 17, finally looks different. And they're like, oh, battery life, battery life. My phone can now, I think it was like 20 something hours, they said,
Yeah.
without really needing a charge. Mind you, Androids can go 3 days without being charged.
Yeah. And they don't get as much love. I mean, you know how it is, like the relationship between iPhone users like myself and Samsung users. You're not a Samsung user. You're an iPhone person, right?
I'm an iPhone person, and as much as I'm going to talk shit about them in the next few minutes, I'm going to get the new phone.
Yeah, right. Because there's just something about like this sleek design that Apple brings with these iPhones, and also just the brand that they come with, the legacy of the iPhone and the iPod, the iPad, just everything about Apple. You both hate and love. You can't resist. You want to resist. It's, I would say, a complicated, toxic relationship.
That is perfect way of describing it.
Yeah, yeah. They're tech MAGA, as I like to call them sometimes. They're the tech version of MAGA.
They are, and it's like that, just that piece of shit boyfriend you can't get rid of.
Yeah.
You just gotta bring them back into the apartment.
Right? Like you know they're a piece of shit, but god damn it, they get your attention and they make you feel feelings every single goddamn day. All right. Well, the iOS 26 is going to be the operating system on this iPhone 17 thing, and you'll get capabilities like allowing you to take a screenshot and get a breakdown of what's on your screen. You'll get live translation offerings. And I know Apple, they haven't had the greatest, smoothest history with AI. They're trying to figure that out. They have this center stage feature for its front-facing camera that they're working on. And not only do we have the iPhones, but you want more? AirPods Pro 3, Apple Watch Series 11, Apple Watch Ultra 3. I think the AirPods, they have like they're gonna have like this on-device AI thing that allows you like to translate when other languages are spoken around the person using them. AirPods Pro 3 priced at $249. Do you have a pair of AirPods? Because I've never been an AirPods or EarPods kind of person. Like I think my wife Tony has mine. I'm just a classic like big headphone person. I think you shook your head no.
No, AirPods, no matter what they are, don't stay in my ears.
Yeah,
They always fall out. And I
same.
like the big ones that go over your head, but those are $500 through Apple if you want the Apple brand of them.
Fuck that. I'll just get my JBLs, my JBL wireless headphones, which are a lot cheaper. Yeah, and also like what I like about big headphones, you get more of a noise canceling surround sound movie theater like experience. With the AirPods, I just feel like you're just getting a little humdrum of a sound. And for what? Just so you could look like a douche on Zoom, like looking like that you're busy and have a business meeting to get to. I don't know.
Okay, you have just tapped into something that I felt for years. Do you remember when everybody first started getting the Bluetooth headsets?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
And they would have them in 24 hours a day. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you're not that important that you need this microphone attached to your ear every
Yeah.
second of the day. But now that's what the AirPods have become. Because anytime I see somebody, I'm like, so is it worth me talking to you because
Yeah.
you've
Right.
got your like things in?
Yeah, I just feel like these people go to sleep in them. It just there has to be something bad where you have those things in your ears 24 goddamn 7. I just feel like you're disconnected from the world. Maybe your hearing gets affected because like you're always hearing at a certain frequency with those AirPods on. I don't know. I don't understand people that always has something in their ears like that. It's just it's insane.
I don't get it. My friends who do wear them 24/7, they'll get frustrated with me because they'll be like talking and I'm assuming they're not talking to me because they have those in. So I'll just be like not paying attention and then I have to tell them like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were on the phone."
Right? Yeah, it would be very reasonable to think that. All right, so I also saw that Apple has a sleep score tracking feature and hypertension notifications for its Series 11 smartwatch. So you want help with noting high blood pressure? Boom, that's what the hypertension feature has. It
Mhm.
flags for potential high blood pressure. It takes data from the heart rate sensor, it analyzes it for patterns related to hypertension. But Apple says it's pending approval from the FDA, so it's not something that's quite passed through yet. You think it's going to go through?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to get approved. And again, this is me just bringing up something that I've seen in the news and seen in the hearings.
Yeah.
RFK would like more people to do wearables because they feel like that is a way to get ahead in health. So I
Right.
do think it's going to get approved. And there's already been a few other wearables for like diabetic sensors, blood glucose, and I think something to do with breathing that have already been
Mm.
approved. And I'm pretty sure this one will get approved by the FDA.
All right. Well, if it improves or keeps a monitor on someone's health, then I am all for that. And like you, I am wondering if I should get this iPhone as well. I have an iPhone 13. I literally got it like over a year ago. And maybe it's because I use it way too much between door dashing, taking notes, whatever. But it has become an annoying, low, glitchy son of a bitch lately, especially when using the DoorDash app. Maybe it's just the DoorDash app specifically, but have you noticed like you'll get on the DoorDash app, say you're at the customer's house at drop off and you're trying to just confirm it, and the thing just reloads, and slowly reloads,
Yeah.
and it might take a long time for the picture to load up. Sometimes in the middle of a dash, like the thing will log out and ask me to log back in and verify my phone number. The Apple Maps feature has gotten glitchy as well. When you are on an app and you have to like do the thumb thing on the bottom to get yourself out of the app, that takes longer to do as well. So I don't know. Whoever is a conspiracy theorist that thinks that Apple just fucks up its older iPhones just so people can buy the new iPhone, I'm starting to believe it, because the iPhone 13 is like what, 4 or 5 models old. So even if I just bought it a year ago, it's almost working right now like it's a iPhone 4.
Well, anybody who does believe it, you were proven right because there was a lawsuit and Apple had to admit that their updates would destroy the battery life and cause the old phones to become obsolete. I have the iPhone 15 and mine does the same thing now where it's slowing down. DoorDash, I could have full signal and it'll be like you're disconnected. And I
Yeah,
have to
right?
restart everything. It's the most annoying crap ever. And I noticed it really got intense after this most recent iPhone update. So I'm gonna, of course, go switch to the 17. It comes around my birthday. And I'm just gonna go buy the phone and just get rid of this one or keep it as a backup.
Are you camping the night before, or are you going to be classy and get it at a normal time?
I'm not even going to the Apple store. I'm going to AT&T because I
Oh,
signed up for their free upgrade program and I'm going right to the AT&T store. I went to their website this morning. They said they will have the phone in store the day of the release. And I
there
want
you
the
go.
Max, so I've got to wait till the 20th, I think it is, or the 21st. One of those days is when they're going to have it in store.
There you go. I have AT&T as well, and for whatever reason, in certain parts of Vermont, AT&T just does not translate, and I refuse to go back to Verizon again, because I did that when I moved from Connecticut to Iowa. Because where I was in Iowa, they didn't have an AT&T tower. AT&T is usually cheaper than Verizon. I could be wrong on that lately, but yeah, the difficult thing about living in a rural state like Vermont, AJ, is that you could drive 2 minutes and go from perfect internet reception to just shitty SOS because of all the mountains and the hills and the trees and whatnot.
Oh, that sucks. Y'all need some windmills out there.
Right? That would be great, but we're not investing in that because we are a state that looks backwards, not forward.
Oh,
Allegedly.
well,
So,
fingers
yeah,
crossed, if you do get the new phone, it says that the antenna is supposed to be the superior antenna. So maybe you might have better service.
yeah. My question to wrap up here is: will it be possible for Apple to create the perfect iPhone, the iPhone that will end all iPhones, or will it just be this constant cycle of, all right, we're just going to keep tweaking, we're going to keep improving, we're going to keep adding features that we probably could have added 4 models ago, but hey, we want excuses to get $800 more out of you. You shook your head. It looks like they're just going to keep on making iPhones.
I love Apple, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they intentionally make certain things stupid. Like, just a quick example this update for Apple, they changed the entire Foldable album layout when there was no reason to do that. But you won't upgrade the rest of the phone. Like they intentionally are like, yeah, we're gonna give you a new phone, but we're gonna give you the same shit and everything else. And I'm like, I hate you. But they
It's kind
do
of
it
like
on purpose.
it's kind of like DoorDash. They make updates to their app, and yet it still works shittily.
Yes.
Like here's something that we fixed that really didn't need to be fixed, and yet okay, it's more worse off than it was before. But what are you gonna do?
That's Apple.
That is Apple and DoorDash hand in hand. I wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of partnership. If all of a sudden it's like, if you're a DoorDash driver, you get 20% off on your new iPhone 25,000. Since we're
They
gonna
gotta
continue to make
have
iPhones.
something because paying with Apple Pay is like a premium form of payment on DoorDash. So they
Ah,
have to have some kind of partnership.
all right. Well, we'll keep it posted. Let me know when you buy that iPhone 17 and how it works out for you. On your plate, we were talking about weapons last week, and we're going to continue the horror movie raving. You saw The Conjuring Last Rites in the theater. It's the latest movie in the Conjuring universe. So, do you mind sharing your experience?
The movie was great. It was very great.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, before I go any further, I am going to talk about it. The movie was great, but this is a different type of conjuring. If you think that you're going to have main focus be on the demon, it is not that way. They are focusing on the family.
Wow. All right. Well, for those of you listening and viewing that may not be familiar, we'll just give you some quick background. The Conjuring Last Rites, it's the ninth installment in the Conjuring universe. We are 12 years into this film universe. And I believe this movie specifically, The Last Rites, it's based on the investigations of the Smurl haunting, which refers to claims made by Jack and Janet Smurl of West Piston, Pennsylvania. And this is true, right? This is not fake. This is a true
It,
story.
Based on a true story, the family in the media was portrayed as lying, but in the movie, they kind of like up it so it seems more believable.
Gotcha. All right. So they allege that a demon inhabited their home between 1974 and 1989. And we have Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga returning as Ed and Lorraine Warren. And summary of the Conjuring universe, if you want to get caught up as a listener or viewer of our podcast, it just describes the supposed real life adventures of Ed and Lorraine Warren and their paranormal investigators and authors associated with prominent yet controversial cases of haunting. And the main Conjuring films, to my understanding, it follows the attempts by Ed and Lorraine to assist people who find themselves harassed by spirits. While the spin off films like The Nun 2, Annabelle, it seems like it focuses on like the origins of the entities that the Warrens have encountered. I'm glad to say that you liked the movie. I mean, some people liked it, some people didn't like it. So far, it seems to be the movie in the franchise that had the biggest opening weekend. It's grossed over 200 million worldwide at the box office. Look, I would say we spoiled weapons last week, and it might be a while before I get up to The Conjuring Last Rites, because I did tell you that me and Tony were watching the film universe in chronological timeline order. So go ahead. I mean, any highlights that come to mind that you would like to share?
The highlights that come to mind for me, The Conjuring, the most famous or well known entity is Annabelle and Malthus that
Ooh,
controls the Annabelle doll. We get a couple of hints at Annabelle throughout the movie. The demon entity that's in this movie does not get named. This is the first movie where they do not name it. So we
yeah,
don't know technically what this demon is called, but it's controlling three spirits that live in the Smurl house that were a part of a murder. Um, the effects, they did some practical effects in this one, and they're pretty good.
nice.
There are a few jump scares that really sent me back into my seat, and I'm typically not scared by them, and a few of them got me. Um, Honestly, the main focus and point of the movie is they say that this was the last case that the Warrens did, and it's not. It's just for the movie, they say that this is the last one. And that's because the demon almost kills Judy, their daughter. If you're familiar with Judy, she's the star of all the Annabelle films, essentially. And it's great, it's good, but the message behind the movie, I think, is bigger, where the entity is in a mirror. And the mirror is what brings it into the Smurl house. And this mirror is a reflection of the family. And essentially, they have to face their fears because Ed has suffered a heart attack. Lorraine just wants Judy to have a normal life. But as they push out this like fear of we're not going to try to fight this demon, that is what leads to them almost dying. And it's just all about facing your fears, which makes it so good.
Wow. All right. Well, now you're getting me jazzed up for this movie. And I know I told you over text message that Tony and I last weekend we saw one of the Conjuring spin-offs, The Nun. Now, have you, because in chronological timeline order, The Conjuring Last Rites is the latest one. So you've seen all the Conjuring movies and the spin-offs leading up to the Last Rites.
I've seen all of them except La Llorona. That's the only one I haven't seen.
Oh, is that in the timeline?
It is. It's The Curse of La Llorona, I think is what it's called. And I'm pretty sure they're following Valak. That's the demon from The Nun.
Interesting. Yeah, because the timeline that I have here, the Nun, the Nun 2, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle, The Conjuring, Annabelle Comes Home, The Conjuring 2, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and then finally The Conjuring Last Rites. But I do see some gaps in this timeline, so maybe the gaps is where that movie that you mentioned comes in.
The Curse of La Llorona was an independent film, so it's not a part of James Wan's universe, but it's
Oh,
still
okay,
a
I see.
part of The Conjuring. So
I see.
it was made in Mexico, I want to say it was, but it still is a part of the timeline if you look at the official timeline for it, because Valak is in that movie and the Warrens are part of it.
I see. All right, I'll definitely have to take a look at that movie. But yeah, we did see The Nun last weekend, which, if you don't know, for those of you listening and watching, basically a priest with a haunted past and a novice on the threshold of her final vows. They're sent by the Vatican to investigate the death of a young nun in Romania and confront a malevolent.
I do not know how to say that word. I say malevolent, and apparently that I'm wrong. I do not know how to pronounce that word.
Maleficent? How do you say that word? Malevolent force, let's just say that, in the form of a demonic nun. And this was released back in 2018. It grossed like $366 million worldwide off of just a $22 million budget. So again, like Weapons last week, you don't have to spend much to make a great, financially successful horror movie. And just some quick thoughts about The Nun from watching it last weekend. I mean, look, you give me priests, nuns, exorcism, anything combining religion and horror is always going to be good in my eyes visually. Now, story wise, it could be flawed, but I don't know if you have that thing of like, wow, this looks so good. I really want to be this on Halloween. I want to be like a possessed nun.
You know, the funny thing is, last Halloween, I was Valak, the possessed nun in the movie,
There
because
you
I
go.
love that demon so much. And, John, if you're into religious horror, did you hear that they're making a horror movie about Jesus?
I am going to be one of the first people to see that. I mean, one could argue The Passion of the Christ is a sort of a horror movie about Jesus, but what is this movie called? When is it going to be released? Do you have any details?
I don't have the details, so I'm gonna have to like intercut this or something with the name of the movie. But I recently saw it on social media and I can't remember the title of it, but it's supposed to follow Jesus and Mary, and it's like some kind of horror stuff happens and people get killed. And I'm like, oh, I need to see this.
I love that. You think the Christians and the people on the right are going to go crazy about this?
They are already upset. On TikTok, there is a whole side of TikTok with Christians upset about this. They have started a petition to get the movie stopped.
I love it when they're upset. It makes me have tears of joy. Uh, so as for the Nun movie, I mean, yeah, like everything from the demonic makeup, the charming Frenchie character, I love that. Sister Irene, I wonder if that point you saw the movie, right?
Hmm.
You did. Okay. So that point in the movie where, the demonicness of all gets in full force as Sister Irene is praying in the church and the back of her clothing gets ripped off and you see her back get like torn into with the all the signs and shit. I wonder if the director was like, "Okay, this is frightening, but it's like also sexy," because it did kind of read that to me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Nope, you were not wrong because a nun is supposed to be the most unsexualized version of a person. So James Wan, who directed the movie, purposely did that to say, like, I'm defiling you in such a way that you're going against everything that a nun would be.
Yeah. All right. We can get into my fantasies, but I'm not going to get into that. So that all being said, I think what me and Tony took from it is that It's a movie with slow and quiet pacing, and combine that with the dark vibe of it, we just thought like, it's okay, not the best, it's okay. Uh, she was assuming that we're just gonna go into the Nun 2 after watching the Nun 1. And I will say, like, they did leave a cliffhanger at the end of the first Nun movie that makes you want to watch the second Nun movie. But I think when I watch a dark, slow movie, even if it's 90 minutes, I'm just like, all right, I feel very dark and depressed about the world, and I want something that's very light and cheery and positive. And that's where your recommendation of Project Runway came in. I'm so glad that you brought that over as a sampler, I think in last week's episode, because the fact that this show has been on for like 20 something years and I'm just now getting around to it, and I'm seeing this revival season on Hulu, and it is just so quick and comedic and entertaining. I'm so blown away by the really bold confidence of these fashion designers. I love the honesty of the judges. Law Roach, I think he's completely set up as the judge that you really want to hear from, because he'll have those hot, honest takes. But yeah, no, I'm like 3 episodes in, and I want to watch more. And unfortunately, my wife the other night just was like, we have to go to bed. We have work tomorrow. And I was like, no, no, God, no, I want to see the twins.
I'm happy you're enjoying it. A new episode comes out on Friday, so you've got time to catch up on the episodes. You're not there yet, but the new episodes are every Friday, and this has been, to me, hands down, the best season of Project Runway almost ever. We just need Tim Gunn back. That's who we do not have on the show.
Tony liked Tim Gunn. She had mentioned that like he was very personable. All I knew about Project Runway before watching was the talk show interview rounds that Heidi Klum and Tim Gunn would do talking about the show. Like they would appear on late night talk shows. Tim Gunn used to be a regular fixture on like Conan and Letterman and stuff like that. So that's how I knew them, and that's how I knew of Project Runway. But yeah, literally like watching this revival, I want to set some time, because Hulu, strangely enough, they have the revival season and then they have the first 4 seasons of the original Project Runway. They don't really have anything in between. I really want to set some time to just kind of like binge Project Runway from the beginning, and get why this show is as good as people say it is. Yeah, as far as reality shows are concerned, if you give me something competitive, high pressure, high stakes, like fashion designer competition, singing competition, cooking competition, I just want something where people are just like, oh my god, this is my career and I'm panicking, and then they get like, shat on by judges. Don't you just love that kind of TV? It's hard to resist.
It's hard to resist. And John, if you go back and watch Project Runway, you're going to get your fix. Now, I always tell everybody Project Runway seasons 1 to 10 are like the prime Project Runway. The later seasons are not bad, but once you get to that block of 16 to 20, when they no longer have Heidi Klum, Tim Gunn is not there, and it's just this hodgepodge of judges and repeat competitors, I don't think it gets good. I think it kind of just fell off from there.
Do we know why Heidi originally left and why Tim Gunn is no longer with the show?
I don't know if it had to do with them switching networks, but the only thing that I've heard is when they contacted Heidi Klum to come back, Heidi contacted Tim Gunn. Tim Gunn reached out to the producers and they said, you can have a cameo role on an episode or two, but we're not bringing you back. And
Damn.
that really, like, it hurt because Heidi and Tim is what we fell in love with. And I get Christian Siriano would not have a job, but he could have been a judge or something else,
Yeah.
and they could have brought Tim back because
Yeah.
we love Tim Gunn.
Damn. All right. Well, as you can tell, me and AJ we're both standing for Project Runway. Check it out on Hulu. It's really a great watch. And they do that damn thing. This reminds me of like 2000s peak American Idol, where Ryan Seacrest, I don't know, he had the fucking singer contestants on stage, and he was just like, "All right, someone's gonna go, and we'll find out after the break." And then they just cut like to a commercial. Like Project Runway, like just when you want to know, all right, who's getting eliminated, who's staying, they have the credits quickly come up on the screen, and then that's the end of the episode. So I know it's like basic cliche television to keep you watching, but it's like, fuck, you're reminded of why TV shows like that work is because they know how to keep people tuning in.
They do, and I'm gonna tell y'all, anybody who knows Project Runway, this is a first because the previous seasons they didn't wait to get to the elimination. They would bring everybody in, and they're like, "You're out." Immediately, they had no sympathy for the designers. This waiting to the next episode for us to find out who gets the chop, brand new, brand
Yeah.
new.
Well, it works. It works. I can't wait to binge more over the weekend. Yeah, as for the Nun, like Sinners and Weapons, I'm watching Sinners and Weapons and I'm like, oh my God, that was good. And I would like to maybe watch another horror movie. The Nun was that kind of thing where it's like, dark, slow, not my cup of tea. I want to watch Project Runway to just kind of get a cleanser. And I'm hoping the Nun 2 will make me feel better. Did you watch the Nun 2? Did you like it?
I've watched The Nun too. I like it. Just a little thing, John. You're not getting rid of Valak, the demon that's behind the nun, until you get into the second Conjuring movie. So you got more to go along with the spirit.
All right. All right. Well, there we go. If it all makes sense, I think in this meal that we've consumed, we have eaten Conjuring Last Rites, the entire Conjuring universe, including The Nun, and Project Runway. How about that for a meal?
I like that. That's a good little mix of stuff.
All right, we got to talk about what's on your plate with the VMAs. I didn't watch, I didn't see the clips online. I will say before we get into your thoughts about the show, just some highlights that I noted here. Lady Gaga, I believe, won 4 awards, including Artist of the Year. Ariana Grande won 3 awards, including Video of the Year for Brighter Days Ahead. Mariah Carey won the Video Vanguard Award. And I think some news coverage thing told me that she has never won a VMA before this, which is kind of
Nope.
weird because it's fucking Mariah Carey.
At first I thought the same thing of like, it's kind of weird, but then I had to remember this is the VMAs, and the VMAs are all about video music production, and her videos are not like the biggest affair. It's typically her just standing still singing something.
The singing is the selling point, not the video design. Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then Rose won for Song of the Year for APT. I know there was an Ozzy Osbourne tribute. Yeah, takeaways from the VMAs. Did you watch? I mean, I think you had mentioned that you would never watch the full show, so you probably just watched clips online.
I watched a few clips on YouTube, and it was a fun little show. A lot of the performances were good. APT, I did not know was that stupid song when they're like ah patipata. And I'm like, this is so terrible. I didn't know that that was that song. And then I was like, this is APT and it won an award? It's
Yeah,
so bad.
I've never heard it. Now you got my curiosity peaking. Yeah, again, I mean, not being in radio anymore for like the past year and a half, I'm just like, what's the new music? What are the kids into? So I'll have to dig into the APT of it all.
It's when you hear it, John, and you've heard the song before. You've had to if you've watched any form of TV because it's
Yeah.
come on, and I guarantee you've changed the channel or just fast forwarded or muted your TV because the song is so stupid. It's dumb, and I I get everybody's artistic stuff is different, but this is like a weird kids kitschy campy song with Bruno Mars, a full grown man, and Rose, who is a K-pop singer, and it is just the weirdest combination I've ever heard.
I love that. I got to dig into it. I think you had mentioned that there were some disappointments, some snubs that you felt. People that you wanted to win didn't win. Can you talk more about that?
Everybody except Doechii, who I wanted to win, did not win. So Coldplay got Rock Album of the Year, which I'm sorry, Rock Song of the Year, which it's not a bad song. But I did actually want Linkin Park to win that category, and R&B, who won? And that one really upset me because it's not a good song. I wanted SZA to win. Oh, it was Mariah Carey, "Tight Dangerous."
Oh
That
yeah.
terrible song won the VMA over SZA, and SZA's song "Drive." The video and the audio are amazing.
Okay, okay. I did listen to Drive from SZA. It wasn't my cup of tea. And maybe I'll just need to give it another listen, and maybe I might feel differently. But I know your feelings about Mariah, and I think you. I think. Are you making the argument that she's done? That she should just end her career right now?
I think Mariah should just focus on if you're gonna sing and perform, give us Mariah Carey that we loved. You can have these poppy, ratchet little records because it's part of who you are. But Type Dangerous really sounds like somebody's aunt who is not tapped in and is trying to be tapped in with the young kids. And I don't think it's a good song. It's
Damn.
bad.
Another song that I have to put on my playlist. I did hear that the MTV VMAs being on CBS certainly helped. They had like a
Oh,
42% increase in viewership compared to the previous year. I mean, yeah, that's not terribly surprising because when you just limit the award show to basic cable, which has been in decline for quite some time, and then you elevate it to a broadcast network where you don't have to pay for cable, you can just get it free on your antenna, then yeah, it's gonna get a boost in viewership. I think across CBS, MTV, and Paramount Plus, 5.5 million viewers, which is kind of it's to them it's positive news, but to me it's just a reminder of like the sad state of TV ratings nowadays because 20, 30 years ago that would be considered a failing show, but because the world is so splintered, everybody has their niche content that they're tuning into. Yeah, we're at a point where a broadcast network, not even on its own, getting 5.5 million viewers. I think this is like broadcast network, cable, and streaming combined 5.5
yeah.
million viewers. So standards are low, but if it's good news for the VMAs, it looks like they'll be on CBS and MTV next year.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to redo the awards, but I'm with you. When I saw the numbers and I was like, oh, this is across all platforms, I'm
Yeah.
like, what does it say about our society that you can get more viewers on your social media posts than an award show?
Yeah, it's insane. I think the Super Bowl is probably the only big monoculture event that remains untouched. Like you'll see like 100 million viewers have tuned in like the next day. Second to that might be the Grammys. Like the Super Bowl and the
Yeah.
Grammys are like live events that people still tune in for and obsess about. Third place, I think, is the Olympics. So yeah, very few events nowadays that can capture millions and millions upon millions of people. And the VMAs, yeah, they're just not quite there. They're just kind of like a niche thing.
They're a niche thing, and I'm starting to realize as I was watching the clips, I don't know most of these people, and I think there's a lot of people in the millennial age group that were
Yeah,
heavy TV watchers growing up that are kind of like, oh, we don't know who these people are, so we're not
yeah,
tuning in as heavily as we used to.
yeah. Well, VMAs, they happened. They're in the books for 2025, and we'll see what happens in 2026. Next on my plate, I wanted to talk about how Howard Stern fooled the world and made people think that he actually retired when he didn't. And this is kind of fitting to his radio personality that he would like, really take advantage of all the rumors and the press coverage and make a prank out of it. But yeah, for those of you listening and viewing, if you don't know, I'll just give you the as brief as possible a background on him. Howard Stern has been a radio legend for oh god, late 70s, early 80s, so 40, 50 years. He used to be on terrestrial radio. I know that he's been on satellite radio for so goddamn long that you would think that he was only on there, but traditional free to air AM FM radio, he was there. That's where he got his start, working in, stations in upstate New York, Detroit, Washington D.C., my hometown, Hartford, Connecticut. He was there in like the late 70s, and then he moved up to the big leagues in New York City, started local there, and then he built his reputation as, I would say, an authentic shock jock, so to speak. And his show became nationally syndicated for like 20 years before he decided, fuck the FCC and them telling me what to do. I'm going to go to satellite radio. So he moved to Sirius XM back in like 2006. And there's always a period, like every few years, when Howard's contract is up where there's this big hullabaloo. Is he going to resign? Is he going to retire? Yada, yada, yada. And it seemed like over the summer, the rumors really reached a peak because I don't think his listenership on Sirius XM is what it used to be. And we're very much in an age where it seems like more podcasters, social media content creators are taking the place of what Howard Stern used to be back in the day. So Howard usually takes a summer break, and he didn't comment on it until his show on Monday morning? Yeah. So you're familiar with Andy Cohen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're a big fan of the Real Housewives, and I think he does all those reunion specials.
Yeah.
And
And
Andy
Andy
Cohen
know what
also,
he did. He knows what
What
he
did he
did
do?
and
Oh
what
my
you're
God,
gonna do.
explain.
You know exactly what you did and why I don't really particularly care for you. But
Oh
I
no.
do like I do like him, don't get me wrong. But he knows what he did on the Real Housewives of Potomac and how he got that girl up out of there. So he and I have a bone to pick, but you're lucky I love your husband.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. Andy Cohen and AJ Vandertunt, the feud that I want to see online for years to come. Oh, but anyway, yeah, yeah. So Howard, when you heard his show on Monday morning, you didn't hear him. You heard Andy Cohen coming on and saying, "Hey, I know this is not what you expected, but Howard's gone and I'm taking over, and it's going to be Andy 100 instead of Howard 100," which refers to Howard's channel on Sirius. And understandably, you had some people calling in angry, like, what the fuck is this? I mean, Andy, just imagine like Howard Stern, this guy that has been really resonant with a stereotypically heterosexual male audience, and then you have Andy Cohen saying like, "Hey, we're gonna come in, we're gonna talk about Patty LuPone and the Real Housewives." When I listened to the prank, I thought, "Oh yeah, this is a prank from the get-go." But there were some people that called in and they were just like, "No, this is not what I wanted. You're gonna get a lot of angry people because Howard cannot go like this. Like, what the hell's happening?" But after that segment, Howard came back with his co-host Robin Quivers, and they explained that it was a prank and that essentially they're still talking with Sirius about a contract moving forward. But yeah, AP News, Variety, they literally broke the story that Howard was splitting with SiriusXM. They fell for the prank. And I was ready to come on this podcast and have a career retrospective and reflection about what Howard has meant to radio, because, the guy is pretty much a North Star for people who have worked in the industry like myself, or people who currently work in the industry, because in an era where radio used to be very polished and very safe, Howard really stood out as someone who was just like, all right, I'm going to come on and talk about sex and farting and my wife's miscarriage. And, you know, very polarizing. Obviously, a lot of people hated him, a lot of people loved him. But nonetheless, people tuned in because there was just no one else like him. And his legacy is kind of complicated for me because, like, you listen to what Howard used to be like back in the day, and you can kind of see, like, oh, I think we're getting inklings of the manosphere atmosphere that we see today. The sort of alt-right content space, your Joe Rogans, your Andrew Schultz's. You kind of see that from the Howard back in the day. And it's kind of strange and ironic how Howard is not that person anymore. I mean, he seems to be pretty shameful and regretful of what he used to be back in the day. He has since been in therapy. He's mellowed. But I mean, my God, Andrew, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've watched a documentary on, like, I don't know, some celebrity and the scrutiny that they faced, and they always cut to a clip of Howard saying something really shitty on his show about this celebrity, like an Anna Nicole Smith, for instance. So, Howard has this mixed legacy where it's like, oh wow, he's this guy that created a sort of authenticity on the radio that wasn't there, but at the same time, you listen to a lot of the stuff from back in the day, very problematic. He's now considered one of the best interviews nowadays, and he's evolved, but like, it'll be interesting how he's viewed in the history books when in fact he does retire. I would argue that it wouldn't be bad if he did, because if you listen to him nowadays, he sounds like a very cranky, neurotic old man that never leaves the house. And maybe it just goes to show you that, like, you could have a lot of money in the world and it doesn't really change your mental health or your happiness. Because when he was on the come up, uh, in his earlier days, you listen to a more energetic, I would say, horny and sensitive teenage boy and this adult man. And now I listen and it's like, okay, yeah, like his cranky old manness can be funny to me sometimes, but a lot of the times it can be annoying because it's just like, I mean, dude, you're like worth like what, $500 million right now. You could go on vacation anywhere. You only work 3 days a week. You have summer breaks. You have vacation like every 2 weeks. And yet you're just talking about like, I don't want to be with people. And it's just like, I don't know. So I would argue that, like, find the next chapter of your life, explore more your love of pets and your love of guitar playing. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, that's just my take on him. Is that there was a retirement prank that I wish wasn't. But it sounded good. It sounded good. I mean, it reminded me of why he's brilliant. I mean, if you hear the imaging, if you hear how that prank was played out on the air, it reminds me of like, oh yeah, this is why Howard is what he is. He just does radio like nobody else. So, yeah, if that makes any sense, that's just the meal that I wanted to present for this segment of the show.
It makes sense. I heard the Andy Cohen clip, and so when I heard it immediately, I was like, "Ooh, people are going to be mad if
Right?
this is how this man goes." And he didn't say anything. When I heard the Andy Cohen clip, I was cackling because I'm like, I know Howard Stern, I know his audience. I was never like the biggest Howard Stern fan, just because it kind of wasn't in my sphere of stuff that I consumed
Right.
when I was
Right.
younger. But I knew of Howard Stern. I'm like, I know who this man is, and
Right.
people saying outlandish things never bothered me. So I was like, okay, he seems pretty cool. I just never got into it. It wasn't until he became a judge on America's Got Talent where I was like, oh, this guy is hilarious. And then I'm like, okay, let me go back and listen to some of his stuff. And yeah, some of it's problematic, y'all. It really is.
A
But
lot of it
take it,
is.
a lot of it is. I mean, take what you want to take from Howard Stern and who he is and how he is. He's made a mark. He has made a mark, and that mark
Yeah.
cannot be denied. I do agree with you. I think, like, Howard, maybe it's time for you to just retire or go back to America's Got Talent, because the new show, I tried to listen to one of the recent episodes, and I was like, I literally feel like you. This is an old man screaming about people skateboarding on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like and it's weird because again, like he seemed more upbeat when he wasn't as wealthy and established as he is now. So it's just I don't know. It's an interesting experiment on like, oh yeah, you could be wealthy, you could be established, you could have this like really iconic status. Doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be happier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Uh, Oh yeah, yeah. Going back to the prank of it all, I was listening to Howard's commentary on the retirement rumors and whatnot, and another part that made me laugh was his longtime co-host Robin Quivers. Apparently, there was also rumors during the summer that she was dead. And given the health issues that Robin has faced, you know, rumors that you could easily believe if you like really dive deep into the internet. So Howard being Howard, and this is why this is why there are times where I just love him. He talked about how he personally called Robin and was just like, you know what, this is good for the show. Don't take any fucking phone calls. Let's just lean into the fact that you are dead until we come back on the air. And Robin was talking about how she was just cackling when she heard that because, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Howard is an entertainer. So even though yes, to some degree he was angry at the rumors, there I loved how there was this entertainer switch that flipped on while he was on summer break where it was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just lean into it, let's just have people believe that maybe I'm going away and maybe Robin's dead, why not?
I love that. And anybody who knows Robin, if Robin died, there would be a massive outpouring of all kinds of emotions on social
Yeah.
media. That woman was not dead. And I knew she wasn't dead when I first heard the rumor because I'm like, no, somebody would be making tons of clips about this woman because I would argue that Robin is almost as famous as Howard Stern just because she is
Yeah.
a black woman sitting next to that man.
Yeah, I really want to sit down and have dinner with Robin Quivers because I mean she's been I mean aside from like a brief period when she was fired from one of Howard's jobs, I mean they've been a unit since 1981 or something like that. And being a black woman who's sitting with Howard Stern, this white Jewish man who certainly had an unfiltered mouth and certainly has said a lot of things that a black woman like Robin Quivers could find offensive. It's just like I really want to just like sit down and have dinner and just digest that relationship and that dynamic because clearly they have a bond where you know whatever content Howard may put out that you know some may find off-putting, Robin just kind of skips over that. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, she's fascinating to me. She's fascinating, and I love her role on the show because She essentially plays the role of like the listener, where you're just kind of, taking in Howard's cranky old manness or his bizarreness, and you're just either shocked or laughing or whatever. Like she does provide a humanity quality to that show that I think a lot of people don't notice and respect. So hopefully, Robin Quivers, if if you're ever watching this podcast, hopefully you can have dinner with us, because I want to pick her.
I would love it, Robin. I love you. I mean, you have made a mark on your own. And just for anybody who wants to like get a very fast but in-depth overview of some of the things throughout his career and hers, watch the 2 episode arc of The Dark Side of the 90s called
Ooh,
Shock Jocks. And it's pretty
okay,
good.
all right, all right. Love it. I would totally watch that. All right. That is about it for me. Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer. This is a movie that you are crazy about. You want to talk about that as what's next on your plate?
For our anime nerds and blurs out here, Demon Slayer or Kimetsu no Yaiba, whichever camp you belong to, the movie Infinity Castle is out and it's so good. It's so, so good. I got very fortunate and I have to say thank you to AMC. They allowed me to come into an early screening of the movie and oh my God, I cried, I cried, I cried.
Oh my god! Can you feel free to tell us what it's about? It's fine if there's spoilers, but yeah, like tell me what the story is, and what are moments in the movie that you loved.
So, our story, if you're not familiar with Demon Slayer, our main character, Tanjiro, he is trying to kill the demon lord who has turned tons of people into demons in Japan, and including his sister, and killed his entire family. So, he's on his quest for revenge against Muzan, who's the like head of the demons. In the
Yeah.
movie, if you guys check out my socials, I talk about it all the time. My favorite Hashira, who's one of the people fighting the demons, named Shinobu, dies. She gets killed trying to get revenge for her sister, but she fights demons using poison, and it's such a good fight. Now, fingers crossed, as she's dying and she's getting eaten alive, she makes this hand gesture, which means she could possibly still be alive in some other universe, but I don't know. Um, but the movie's good. The fight sequences are amazing. The animation, I don't think I've seen animation this beautiful since like early 2000s. Like it's beautiful. You could just stare and watch it without even reading or understanding the words, and it's beautiful. And the Infinity Castle is much bigger than what we thought it was in the original anime and the manga. So I would
Wow.
say check it out. It's pretty damn good. And we get an epic fight, y'all.
Where can we watch it?
So to see the movie, you have to go to theaters. It is only showing in theaters, I think, until next year, and then it may be on Crunchyroll. If you live in a place where there's an AMC, go to their website. Every AMC theater is showing an English version and a Japanese version of the movie, no matter where you live. But I think it's only one showing per theater, so you might want to get your tickets very fast.
That. All right. Demon Slayer. Gonna look out for that. Shall we get into our samplers?
Let's get into them.
Yeah, this is something that we like to wrap up the show with. Think of a sample that you tried at Costco. Just a little taste of something that may make you want to buy the bulkier, full version of it. Again, this is a variety food show in that some things are tasty and then other things may give you a bitter, emotional, reflective taste. Stay with me on this. This episode is going to be coming out on September 11th, and it is the 24th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. So I actually want to rewind to like a few years ago and recommend this Netflix documentary series called Turning Point 9/11 and the War on Terror. If yeah, oh yeah, you've watched it.
Yeah, I have. I've watched that a few times. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So, yes, obviously September 11th, a very dark subject for you listening and viewing. If you are objectively fascinated by the stories that come out of it, it's a great docuseries. about, just the origins of the attacks, how it came to be, the impact that it's had on American culture. Also, literally the other morning on the way to work, I listened to a fantastic episode of Latino USA on NPR about how 9/11 has led to our modern political discourse on things like, say, immigration. I mean, it's just a few things that I really loved about that episode. If you remember, back in 2000, when George W. Bush won the election, he won with 35% of the Latino vote. George W. Bush, running on his compassionate conservative thing, he was like, all right, like, these are the people that really made a footnote in me getting into office. Let me come out with pro immigration reform so that it's an easier path for them to get into the country. And then 9/11 happened. And
Hmm.
that I didn't know. So I thought that things like the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, Immigrations and Custom Enforcement, or ICE, I thought those things were already created. But essentially, no, 9/11 is what created those agencies. So the Latino USA episode that dives into 9/11, I think they produced it back in 2021. Listen to it, because it really lets you know how this one event back on September 11th, 2001, pretty much led to where we are today, in terms of, unfortunately, this anti-immigration rhetoric, this idea that, like, oh, if you come from another country, you could be harming our country, you could be a terrorist. I mean, it sounds simple-minded when I say it out loud, but I think it's really a discussion worth going back and reflecting upon. Where were you on 9/11? I'm curious.
I was home. I was home. I actually lived in New York at the time, not the city. I was still upstate New York at the time. But that day, I didn't go to school. I remember that I was home for some reason, and I don't remember why. I feel like I had a doctor's appointment or something. And then my brother came home early from school, and I knew he was home early, and I was upset because I had to turn off my cartoons because he took over the television. But yeah.
Oh God. Did he took over the television with 9/11 coverage, or was he just watching something else that was like child friendly?
I think it was ESPN or something as he was going to put on. But as he was
Yeah.
flipping through the channels, then we saw the World Trade Centers and he
Yeah.
stopped. And I was like, oh my God, what is that?
Jeez. So were you uh like essentially my dad, maybe the rest of my family, that night, where the news coverage was just on and you were glued to it? Maybe you were doing other things, but the coverage was just on for the rest of the
Now,
day.
I remember it was on, and I didn't find this out until later, like much later when I was much older. But it was on. My parents were watching it, and then I think I just got tired of it, and I went upstairs and put on Cartoon Network on my television,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Cartoon Network purposely was running every kid-friendly show and movie they could on a marathon without commercials, so that way kids had to escape from it.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's very, very reasonable, because I would imagine that that would be traumatic for a kid to see. Yeah. 9/11. I mean, it hits a certain way for us millennials, because we were coming of age, we're growing up, and then this thing happens that pretty much changes the course of America forever. I remember being in fifth grade. I was at a private Christian school, and I think it was either the pastor or my teacher. They just kind of interrupted instruction and just said, "Oh, yeah, by the way, we've been bombed." They said something like that. I mean, I just heard something in the manner of, "We've been bombed." And I didn't really know what to make of it as a kid. It's just like, okay. And then maybe school let out early. I don't quite remember, but I certainly do remember coming home and the news coverage being on. I think my dad had CNN turned on, and it was just on for the rest of the night, watching the World Trade Center collapse. And I think at night, when I was sitting with him as he was watching Larry King live, he had said something to me in the manner of, like, yeah, this is going to be talked about for a while. Like, this is going to be nonstop. Like, you're not going to stop hearing about this. And 24 years later, yeah, we're still hearing about it. So yeah, that. Oh, go ahead.
You know, the crazy thing is, there's an entire generation of kids who do not have any recollection of 9/11. To them, it's just history. I was talking to my nephews the other day, and I was like, did they teach you guys anything about 9/11 in school? Do you know what that is? And they were like, What is 9/11?
It's bizarre, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
that I mean that's clearly a fault of the education system if 9/11 isn't being taught in schools. I think my younger brother CJ, who is Gen Z, I think he's the only one in our sort of brood of siblings and cousins and aunts and uncles and mom and whatnot who wasn't alive yet during 9/11. Yeah, because I think everybody else, even my Gen Z cousins, they were born in like 98, 99. But CJ being born in 2002, like just mere months after September 11th, it is kind of bizarre that he will kind of view this event as like, oh yeah, this is just something that I've maybe heard about in school and I really have no connection to. But me and my sister being in our 30s, being millennials, remembering being in elementary school, what it was like, it's just, yeah, it hits different. It hits different. So again, my sampler, Turning Point, 9/11 and the War on Terror, and that Latino USA episode from NPR about 9/11. Definitely tune in and check it out as we acknowledge the 24th anniversary of the attacks on the release date of this episode. All right, AJ, what's your sampler?
My sampler is very quick, y'all. Gears of War is now available on PlayStation. If you played Gears of War, it was only on Xbox for like the last 15 years. And now we finally get to play it on PlayStation. So if you want to play with me, we can do a group campaign. My gamer tag is the same as all my socials, just AJ Vandertunt. If you send me a request, I'm always on PlayStation Network, so I will respond.
What's the game about?
So Years of War, it follows this group called the COG, which is a military group. They're on another planet because Earth is pretty much destroyed, and they're fighting against this group of evil people called the Locusts. And I say evil with quotation because once you get into the story, you find out that these people are not evil. They are just people the same way we're people. And the game essentially revolves around how war destroys society, but the stories of the people inside of the war are bigger than the war itself.
All right, so they can follow you, AJ Vandertunt, to play Gears of War and have a good time.
Yep, if you want to play, all you have to do is send a request. I'm literally signed in to PlayStation Network 24 hours a day. I may not be playing at the time, but if you send me a request, I will respond and let you know what time I'll be on to play.
Love that. And we love you listening and watching The Delicious Culture. Please continue to consume us wherever you get your podcasts. If you like just audio, that's fine. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, SiriusXM, Amazon, we're pretty much anywhere you get your audio podcasts. If you love the video podcast, that's fine. We have full video episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Like, comment, share, do all that good stuff. You can email us at thedeliciousculture@gmail.com. We are at The Delicious Culture on Instagram, Threads, Reddit, YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, like, share, like, all that stuff. Great. We love it. We love you forever. And same for TikTok, at Delicious Culture. Comment, share, share, like. God, I sound like yeah, what I just said, I sound like some monster from a Mario game. You know what I'm talking about?
You sound like oh, what is it called? Not Shy
Or
Guy.
hungry,
Um
hungry hippo. I don't know. I just like.
you sound Hungry Hippos or Pac-Man.
Oh yeah, that too. That too. Also an iconic thing from our millennial generation. Ah, God, the college classes where I would literally just play Pac-Man on my laptop and not actually pay attention.
I remember in
Memories.
college, I had Pac Man, like the four-way competitive one, downloaded to my laptop. And mind you, this is when laptops were a little more bulky. So people would be like
Yeah.
crowded around my laptop in class, thinking, like, oh, the teacher is not paying attention to us, all on this one
Right?
laptop.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, look, college can be bullshit sometimes, so why not escape with the popular AJ Vandertunt and his bulky laptop with the Pac-Man game. Rest in peace to that teacher who I'd never paid attention to, by the way. I know she's passed away, and she probably was just like going to her grave, like, God damn you, John, with your Pac-Man while I was trying to teach about theater history.
Like, she was probably proud that you were able to get through the class and play Pac Man. You were playing a role.
I know, I know. I made it work. I made it work. How can people find you on social media?
On all social media except for Facebook, just look for AJ Vandertunt. I'm the only one on TikTok, when you type in AJ Vandertunt, two of my pages will pop up. Both of them are me. All you have to do is click on them and determine which one you want to follow, or you can follow both. One is very messy and ratchet, and the other is very professional and political, okay?
Love it, love it. When you said messy and ratchet, I just wanted to go like Megan the Stallion, stick my tongue out and everything.
If you watch my videos on that page, that's what you're going to be doing.
Megan is so iconic for having that as her slogan. Like it's the greatest thing ever. It's just so catchy. I think she still does it in every song, right?
She does. And by the way, because people have been screaming at me because we did an episode and I forgot what her fans are called, they are the hotties. I know it. I am sorry, you guys.
The hotties. I'm a hottie. You're a hottie. Everybody's a hottie. All right. You want to wrap up with some ringing deliciousness?
Today is going to be a great day, you guys, no matter what. And make sure you're being safe out there. But if ICE is in your city, put pressure on them and let that deliciousness ring.